Hello friends, welcome to this lesson on successful interviews. In this lesson we would cover the following: interview preparation, the interview experience, questions to expect and to ask, different types of interview, assessment centers, psychometric test, and interview resources. Let's first understand what is an interview. An interview is a conversation between two or more people with an objective. Here questions are asked by the interviewer to elicit facts or statements from the interviewee. An employer's objective is to find the best person for a job. The employer would assess candidate's experience and abilities by asking questions. The candidate's objective is to impress employer and assess position on offer. A job interview is one of the opportunities to make first impression. However, it's also your opportunity to get on an employer's good side, which can give you a distinct edge over even those applicants whose credentials are better than yours. Preparation is the key to success. So let's examine how we can prepare for interview. Review own skills, experiences and qualities. Check CV. A curriculum vitae gives an overview of a person's experience and other qualifications. Anticipate questions and identify relevant examples. Before interviewer, prepare yourself with the questions which can be asked from interviewer, like what's your biggest weakness? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why do you want this job? Why did you leave your last job? Research organization websites, reports, articles, company literature, etc. to get more knowledge about organization, which can be helpful during your interview. Prepare your questions to ask interviewer to get more information about job profile which you applied for. Practice. If you have a friend who is also preparing for an interview, consider preparing together. Not only will this give you a way to structure your preparation, but it will also help you get comfortable with giving answers, telling anecdotes and using appropriate terminology. Then work upon your body language because it plays a vital role during your interview. Work upon following things to improve your body language. First impression, very powerful. Allow time to relax. Dress appropriately. Entrance, introductions and handshake should be good. Smile and try to make eye contact. Be aware of your own movements. Watch body language of interviewer. Before you go for a job interview, take time to review the most common interview questions you will most likely to be asked. Also, review examples of the best answers and advice on how to answer these typical interview questions. Here are some examples mentioned. About you. Tell me about yourself. Bring me up to date with your CV. Why did you choose that particular degree program? What experience have you had this relevant to this post? What would you consider your major achievements to date? About the job. What interests you about this job? What do you know about this organization? What other options are you considering? How do you see your career developing in the next 5 years? If you were head of department, what would be your priorities? General knowledge. What do you think of the government's policy on college fees? What's your opinion of the Ryanair bid for Aer Lingus? Few of the type of questions are: what if questions. If you're inexperienced, then how would you respond to a situation? Probing questions are those which examines a person. Examples of such questions are: how exactly do you deal with the situation? How did you know it worked? How did you feel about the outcome? Could you have handled it differently? Let's examine what is competency-based interview. Competency-based interviews, also called structured interviews, are interviews where each question is designed to test one or more specific skills. The answer is then matched against pre-decided criteria and marked accordingly. For example, the interviews may want to test the candidate's ability to deal with stress by asking first how the candidate generally handles the stress, and then asking the candidate to provide an example of a situation where he worked under pressure. Here is a list of the most common skills and competencies that you may be asked to demonstrate. Company identifies key skills required for a job, designs questions to elicit evidences of skills, emphasis on past behavior as predictor of success. Teamwork. Describe a team project you worked on. What problems arose? How did you deal with them? Communication skills. Describe situation when you had to persuade others to support your view. Give an example of in reports you have written which illustrate your writing skills. Impersonal skills. What kinds of people do you find it difficult to work with? How do you handle those situations? Taking responsibility. Describe a time when you took responsibility to achieve a challenging goal. Problem solving. Tell about a time when you have had several tasks to manage at one time with conflicting deadlines. Now we look forward how we can prepare for competency interview. Before you go for interview, practice following skills. Identify the competencies required for job. Review job description or ask for information. Define each competency in behavioral terms. Identify past experience to illustrate how you demonstrated the behavior. Prepare examples for each competency. Practice talking about your experience. How to respond to competency-based questions. An example of competency-based question is, give me an example of a problem you encountered. How did you approach it? What was the outcome? Answer to such questions should be a star response where S describes the situation, T explains the task / problem that arose, A what action did you take, R what was the result of or outcome. What did you learn from this experience? Besides what you say when you respond, how you answer interview questions, the details you provide, the information you didn't disclose, and even the non-verbal cues you give the interviewer are all important when you answer interview questions. Here are the tips for the best way to answer interview questions. Listen carefully, seek clarification, illustrate answers with real examples and evidences, be positive, constructive criticism, keep answers specific and succinct. Take time to respond, be alert to interviewer's body language, speak clearly, smile and show enthusiasm. Know what you want to say and find the opportunity. Every employer is looking for a specific set of skills from job seekers that match the skills necessary to perform a particular job. Here are a few common qualities that an employer seeks in a job seeker. Good all-round intelligence, enthusiasm, commitment and motivation, good communication skills, teamwork ability, ability to solve problems, capacity to work hard, initiative and self-reliance, balanced personality. Some additional competencies that a company might look for in the candidates are adaptability, integrity, innovation, teamwork, initiative, drive for results, know the business, open exchange of information, makes difficult decisions. Now let's look at the question which you can ask to employer during an interview. Here are some examples of questions given below that you can ask. Training programs, career development opportunities, types of projects and responsibilities, reporting structure, performance appraisal, profile of staff, questions about topics raised in interview. Let's examine the facts that create a bad impression during your interview. Poor personal appearance, negative attitude, evasive using excuses, lack of interest and enthusiasm, lack of preparation, poor knowledge of role, failure to give concrete examples of skills, overemphasis on money / rewards, lack of career plan. It is important that review your performance after the interview. What went right and what went wrong. That will provide your access to the second round to perform better. Review on performance. What went well? What went badly? What you wished you had said. Prepare for next stage. Invitation to second / final round interviews. Assessment center. Psychometric testing. Panel interview. Rejection letter / email. If you can request feedback, use it. Sometimes organizations go through with a telephonic interview round before they call for physical interview. It is important to prepare as thoroughly as for real interview. Whenever you have a telephonic interview round, try to follow the basic rules mentioned below. Prepare as thoroughly as for real interview. Select comfortable seat and try to find out the private and quiet place. Have a copy of CV and company information. Have pen and paper at hand to note any important information. Prepare for usual interview questions. Practice on phone. Record answers. Try standing, smile and use gestures. Be yourself. Also, let's look at other types of interviews. Rotating, like one-to-one with different interviewers. Group, 6 to 8 candidates. Group observed with discussing topic. Be aware of group interaction. Panel, 2 to 5 interviewers or as many as 13. Trying to identify different roles. Respond to interviewer. Include others through eye contact. May involve presentation. After completing all the round of interview, organizations takes through every successful candidate with assessment round. Here are few examples of assessment. Meeting with recent graduates or managers. Activities include company premises or neutral venue. Includes social or informal events, group exercises, practical tasks and exercises, report writing, oral presentations, psychometric assessments, interviews. Simulates real work environment. Almost all the upcoming companies have vacancies for new candidates, and hiring new candidates is a difficult job in itself. To make things easier, companies these days have started using the psychometric test, and they then prepare the final results of the hired candidates. Here are the few examples. Aptitude test, measuring skills relevant to position, verbal comprehension, evaluate logic of text, numerical reasoning, interpret statistical data, diagrammatic reasoning, recognize patterns, watch timing, complete as many as possible. Personality questionnaires, look at personality style, no right or wrong answers, be spontaneous, don't try to second guess. Tests include built-in checks. Employers may be looking for different personality profiles. I hope this session would have provided you valuable inputs to improve your effectiveness in interview. Thank you very much for listening.